Hello everyone, I'm Steve, Mark's still at work, and this is SmokeySteveAndMarc. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Thursday. Story time. It's been a few weeks since we sat down for a bit of a chat and a bit of a story time. I hope everybody's well. I hope everybody's safe. Look after yourselves, look after each other. We're all just doing what we can, I think. And who knows, I don't know. I'm doing what I can. I hope you're doing what you can to keep yourself well. So today we are going to have another story time. Kind of in the spirit of some things I've talked about over the last couple weeks. I mentioned to you guys I had just finished last night a round of steroids for a couple medical conditions that they're trying to tease out some things that could be wrong. Nothing major. I'm fine. But they're trying to root it out, and they give me a round of steroids to either diagnose or exclude a couple things that could be going on. Now, steroids, for those of you who've taken them, I was taking prednisone, can have certainly some physical side effects over the long term, but even in the short term, I particularly am vulnerable to some of the psychiatric effects that come with steroids. I have a diagnosed mental health concern. I have bipolar 1. I've been treated for that specific disorder for about 10 years, and it's gone into remission since I got targeted treatment. For the most part, blurps on the radar, such is life, but for the most part, it's been okay. And I'm a little bit more vulnerable, like I said, to some of the side effects, and I've been vulnerable this whole week. So what I wanted to talk about, actually, which is something I think definitely resonates with some folks who are in the mental health community, who maybe manage their health with medication, or probably, most likely, anybody who takes care of their health and uses pill medication. As opposed to like personal meds, like rather than things you do for yourself to stay well and like coping skills and self-care, this falls on the medicine side of things, the pill side of things. My whole last 20 years has been one cluster of side effects. Sometimes I feel like I'm nothing but a cluster of symptoms, side effects, pills turning parts of my brain off, another part of my brain on, and my body just gets thrown into the middle of it, and whatever happens to it happens to it. So 9 days on steroids. Let me just tell you the things I cried about. Because it was emotional. It was very emotional. It was like 3, 2, 1. 3 days of 3 pills, 2 days, 3 days of 2 pills, and then 3 days of 1 pill. And the middle of it, I started having these awful, awful crying jags. Hour and a half. Hour and a half. I hadn't had jags like that since I was in jail, maybe. Maybe a previous trip to the psych ward. We have a cat wandering around under here. And I couldn't stop it. Now, my mind would fixate on absolutely anything to cry about. Absolutely anything to cry about. What did I cry about? Okay, so there were some dark emotional things. Now, mind you, I was fine. No episodes, no mood swings. This is a relatively stable time of year for me. It can be challenging, but I was on top of it. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting in my chair and I'm thinking, what am I going to do when the cats die? What am I going to do when my parents die? What if the wedding is off or one of us has COVID before it happens? Then I had some gratitude-y thoughts that brought me to tears. The kind of isn't it such a beautiful world type thoughts. So it still took a dark turn though, because it was like, wow, what a wonderful life I have. I don't deserve all these things. Bring on the tears. I have a home, I have a bed, I have a job. I have all these things I should be more grateful for. God, I'm a loser. Cry, cry, cry. So those came on. What else? Oh, the other fixation was time is gone, the best of the years are behind me. This is another fixation. Now, these aren't rooted in reality. These are just places my mind is going, and I'm emotional in reaction to the medication I'm taking. So my mind is drumming this up. So I have some perspective that I'm not being realistic in having these kind of darker, depressed, weepy thoughts. So I can kind of laugh at it. But if you deal with any kind of mental health issue or get stuck in your thoughts or stuck in your head, when you're in the middle of it, for me, it's challenging. It's like, I don't remember feeling any other way before, and I can't imagine I'll ever feel any other way ever again. Even though I know it's going to go away in an hour and come back in 2 more. That was kind of the cycle I was going on. Oh, the best one. We were filming yesterday. Oh my God. We're like playing catch up, filming pieces of things for some shorts and some other stuff. And we got talking about we have moonflowers in the backyard. And when they bloom, they only bloom for 8 hours once, and then they die. I almost lost it on camera so bad because that was so upsetting. So that's the side effects I was having from the medication I was taking. Now, another thing that I take a lot of medication for, I would say 5 to 9 pills a day is a lot, is for my mental health. Now, I've been on medications for upwards of 20 years. So I think I was 18 the first time I took a pill for depression or something like that. I was 18, and I'm 39, so it's actually been over 20 years. Um, Side effects of coming on and off medication are something I'm pretty used to because over the years I've been on over 20 medications that have been swapped, switched, paired with other ones, which creates their own side effects. All sorts of cocktails, add into those cocktails that I was drinking up until about 10 years ago, and you couldn't really, I mean, who could blame a doctor if the meds didn't work? I mean, I showed up drunk every time. So I'm used to things kind of having side effects, but I'm getting older, and there's things they call long-term side effects. And now that I'm almost 40, which got away from me since I was 25, uh, I'm starting to have long-term side effects, and I have to make some decisions. And I'm thinking about, well, what's in my best interest? What is my quality of life that I want to have? What's the most healthy choice for my body? What can I live with? What can I not live with? So I made a few notes. And by the way, if you're in a position like mine and you need to go on a round of steroids and you're getting mental health services, mention it to your mental health provider first, because this could have went bad. I was on treading very lightly over this last week or two with steroids and shit. I didn't realize I'd have such a mental reaction to what was going on. It could have got dicey. So if your doctor doesn't tell you if you're getting mental health services to talk to your doctor about it, do it. That's Steven's suggestion. So the meds I've been on for over 20 years, 10 of those years I've been taking antipsychotic medication. So I'll throw some names out. I'm always hesitant to tell people the meds I take, not because I'm embarrassed or because of how many I take, but it's so individualized. Stuff that might have been life-saving for me might give you lockjaw. So I'm always hesitant to say what I take. But I will tell you, I take an antipsychotic medication. It's changed a couple times, and that's been the one that made the biggest difference in my treatment over the last 10 years. You see them on TV. Latuda, Saffris. The older ones that maybe get spilled out at the doctor could be Seroquel. The old school ones, Risperdal, Thorazine, like going way, way, way back with some of the other drugs. And I've taken some older ones, and now I take one of the newer ones. But after X number of years, there's the possibility of side effects, and then there's long-term side effects. Well, now I'm long-term because I've been fortunate enough to live this long. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. I'm still alive, okay? And I'm marginally sane. This is a good thing. I'm a little shot out, but I'll take it. It's okay. You have extrapyramidal side effects that come with the meds. So there's some effects that are just taking them over a long period of time, and there's some that happen anyway. For the medications I take I'll just give you the classes of what I take and a few. I take an antidepressant, an SSRI, so those are in the field of like Celexa, Lexapro, Prozac, stuff like that. And then I take a number of anticonvulsants, which are thought to improve mood, quiet electrical activity in the brain, settle mood swings. So they're anticonvulsants. They're generally prescribed for other stuff. One of them is for migraines. A lot of the stuff is off-label prescribed when it comes to the cocktail that I have. I take an opioid antagonist. It helps with craving. I think it's an antagonist. For alcohol, helps with the cravings there. Those are pretty good. And then I take another medication that helps with anxiety so I can sleep. I take melatonin for sleep. I have a history of addiction. I don't get the good stuff because the good stuff is too good for me. So I just take all the more mild things. And again, they all come with complications, and the antipsychotics seems to have the worst. And the one that I'm looking at right now and treating me is because I'm twitching. Oh, one of the meds I take is because all the shit makes me shake. The twitching was new to me. I have my legs crossed, leg goes. Trying to text, double hit. Can't pull my finger back and make it stay back. Twitches in my arms, twitches in my legs, you know. So anyway, getting back to the side effects. The ones I'm experiencing are probably unique to me, and then other folks have ones that are unique to them as well. Again, the ones I'm having where I'm shaking and twitching kind of caught me off guard. It feels like a full body hiccup, like I know what's gonna come. I know what's gonna happen. I just don't know when. And then kaboom! Something happens. Or nothing happens. A lot of times folks will get in their mouth, what a tardive dyskinesia, I believe it is. It'll fixate a lot in the mouth. You'll see folks, I'm not making fun, I'm just trying to like demo it. It'll be like that. Maybe some tongue movement with it too. folks who have serious mental illness, sometimes I do advocacy at a state hospital, and you'll see a lot of folks who have mouth movements like that, or slump, or shuffle, or drool. Those are not the side effects of delusional disorders or mood disorders or serious mental illness. Those are the side effects of the medications that treat them. Those are the long-term side effects of sanity. It appears at the moment, as far as treatment goes, and the way illnesses play out and how they're addressed, that there are some folks who are in a position where they cannot be treated in the community, and it's no choice to make, unfortunately, that if you want to be safe and stable in the community, you need to be so doped up that you can't be a threat to yourself or anybody else. And this shuffling, drooling life is that or nothing. Is that or nothing. And that doesn't feel fair. I had a therapist once who told me that fair is an opinion, and it made so much sense I almost threw a stapler at her. But she was right, I think. I see them, I see me. That's what's kind of scary. Like, working in mental health, which I do, keeps it green, because I look at other folks who are in their 60s, who have similar concerns, and I can't be in bad physical shape. I don't want to be, but I also don't want to lose my mind. So I have to think, what's the trade-off? Mind, body. It's all supposed to be connected, but really it feels like I have the choice of one or the other. I can stay marginally sane and take the medications I take, and my body will have to be, to some degree, sacrificed to keep that in place. Or I can try to come off some of the medication, but I don't know what the medication is masking. As far as my mood or physical conditions it could be masking. Withdrawing from these drugs is brutal. It is brutal. The last time I switched antipsychotics, I didn't sleep for 2 or 3 weeks. I was friggin'. It was bad. It was bad. I was driving Mark crazy. I just wasn't doing good at the time. It's really difficult to do. If it's necessary, it's necessary. But the things that come into my mind that I have to think of is, well, what does anybody think of when they take a med? Personal choice. So it's my choice. It's my healthcare. I am not under the jurisdiction of a power of attorney or a guardian, a conservatorship. I'm a free individual. I am not involuntarily committed. I can take or not take anything I damn well please. That is my right, and I can exercise it. It is also my right to choose to seek help and get it. So I'm doing that at the moment. So as far as personal choice, I do like being involved in the medical profession as far as services. If I'm taking prescription medication for a medical condition, just call me repetitive. I think that's a good idea. So I'm going to continue with that. And if I was going to make any changes to try to avoid any of the side effects that I was having from any of the meds, I would probably want to work with my doctor to either reduce doses or change medications. Again, I have other friends who are a little more willy-nilly isn't the word. We can do what we want with our treatment. But they believe they have the resilience and the wherewithal to deal with whatever comes with stopping a med that they believe is not good for them. And they'll stop often suddenly, or stop, start. Sometimes it affects their recovery. Sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the situation they're in and the kind of the case they're in. I would not be well advised to do that. The withdrawal would be enough to probably drive me mad. I would need to be somewhere very safe to come off all of them all at once. It would not be a good idea. So that's my choice. My choice is to continue them, and if I want to change them, work with my doctor. I wouldn't go outside of that and just stop taking all my medication. It's a common thing that some folks with mental health concerns do. Most of us take our meds, but there are some of us who don't. And that's our choice not to do it. But we also, if we know ourselves and know our illness and know our side effects and our behaviors and what we do, every choice has a consequence. If I choose not to take my medication and I lose control of my capacities and go do something, one choice led to the next. I've said it in a few videos also relating to drug and alcohol. Most of us are only a few bad decisions away from destroying our lives. I made several in a row and lost most of my 20s. It happens. It's unfortunate, but it happens. So aside from my own personal choice, I have to think about the health outcomes. So am I willing to go into renal failure if it means that I can, stay lucid? If I was told that the antipsychotic medication that I was taking was suddenly causing me to have liver damage, And my liver's, I drank for years. So my liver, I don't even take Tylenol because I feel like I still owe it an apology. And I don't want to put too much harm on my body, but I worry that I'll lose my mind. I really do worry. It's a bigger fear of mine than death. It really is, because dead is dead, you know? Um, and then you go wherever dead people go, or if they go anywhere. Um, but being trapped in my head and can't get out and being stuck, it's a bigger fear for me to be alive in that state and just can't get out and can't communicate with the world and to just be shuffled along and fed and cared for. That'd be wonderful. That would be a wonderful outcome if I ended up in that condition. But I don't want to end up in a condition like that. So, do I come off some of the meds and try to save my health, see if there's any room for rehabilitation? Um, do I stay in the position where I take all the meds and now I start taking extra pills? At the moment, I'm already taking one. I take one that treats Parkinsonism because I was having issues with the last pill. So many of you could probably appreciate you take one, they prescribe. Maybe you don't take it, but they prescribe one pill, and then this side effect for the next pill, and then the side effect for the next pill, and then this one for this one for this one, and then you were taking one medication and now you take 10. And sometimes that's necessary. But is it always? Probably not. And I'm in a situation where at the moment I can advocate for myself with my provider. But what do I want to advocate for is what I'm kind of on the fence about. Is it mind, body? Is it sanity, insanity? What am I? These choices all sound like they suck, but again, fair being an opinion, who am I to say? There are a lot of people in worse positions than me. Not to take away the fact that mine is challenging. People have bigger challenges than I do. So I've tried to keep it in perspective, but it's tough because I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to be physically sick because between the two of us, not you and I, between Mark and I, well, I guess the three of us, I always expected my prediction as gloom and doom. We're still on the steroids, so I mean, grain of salt, is that probably Mark would get sick before me if he was going to get sick. He's a little bit older and he has some physical health issues. I assume, for whatever reason, that I would probably stay physically kind of okay and mentally I might be a little and that he would probably physically need help and that I'd be able to provide that. So as long as he kept his faculties, he could think for the two of us and I could lift heavy stuff. And that's how I kind of imagined if we both got ill, we could still look after each other. Maybe each of us on our own couldn't take care of ourselves, but we could look after each other. So I don't want to go so crazy that I can't be there for him either, And I mean, for other stuff in my life, I don't want to miss out on everything because I'm not well, but I don't know. It's hard when you feel like all your options suck, but sometimes they do. Sometimes all of them feel like they suck. This side of the dirt, this side of the psych ward. So, I mean, there is some gratitude to be had there. And it's from the village of people who are holding me up, too. I've been watching this channel. You might have heard of her. She's called Foodie Beauty. And she's going through some stuff, doesn't seem to notice she's going through some stuff, and is giving a big finger to anyone who's ever wanted to help or tried to help. I've done that. You know how long it takes to build trust back after you do that? Even if you do get your shit together, it takes years. It takes years. I'm fortunate now to have support. I have support now I wouldn't have had then. But I don't know. I don't like that much. I like having support, but I don't like utilizing it. I like knowing it's there. Like the bagel in the morning. Like even if I don't want it, I know that it's there if I need it because I like to lie to myself and say I'm a lot more self-sufficient than I really am. So it's my choice. I have to manage my health and then again, quality of life. What can I live with? What can I not live with? That comes up on a case-by-case basis. I can't live with twitching if I can avoid it. So that's why I went to the doctor this time to see what I could try to find out about what's going on. I'm too afraid it would affect like my walking. What if I fell? It's enough that it's annoying to text. I don't want to be like driving and have something happen. I don't want to be out walking and fall. So far, nothing like that has happened. I did trip a couple times in the house, and it was going back and forth. Was my back hurt? Most likely, I probably slipped a disc or something, and this was something else that was going on. The steroids made the shake stop, and now that they're leaving, they're coming back. The twitchy stuff. So, what can I live with? What can I not live with? I don't know. I get easily overwhelmed when I think too far into it, because it seems like, well, just go through the motions and chuck down your pills and go to bed and soldier through the next day. But it's hard when some days are just total maintenance. And if you have an ongoing illness or care for a loved one who does, not mental, physical, anything that needs ongoing daily maintenance, and you're caring for a person who needs ongoing daily maintenance, it gets exhausting. It gets frustrating. You might get frustrated with yourself or with the person you're caring for, because even though you love them, it's a lot. It's a lot to ask, it's a lot to do. And sometimes it's thankless work, and sometimes patients or consumers or individuals or clients are not always interested in the help being offered. Sometimes turn it down, sometimes get smug about it, sometimes feel embarrassed about receiving it. So, I don't know. Going forward, what do we do? What am I doing? Well, I'm following up with medical treatment to see if I'm, still going to shake. And we'll see where that goes. I see a neurologist, and we'll see, probably 20 months, because they're short up here and whatever. And I'll see if there's anything going on that end of things. I stay in touch with my doctor. Again, going forward, I would not go through another round of steroids without telling my psychiatrist first, just to have her on the radar, because this was not what I expected. Not what I expected. Physically, I was fine. I slept on the couch maybe more nights than not because I didn't want to keep Mark up and I was tossing and turning, but I did not expect to be this upset and emotional, and not up emotional, but down emotional the whole time. So that was a lesson learned. I should have connected my mental health and physical health providers prior to that, but, live and learn. It's very fluid. Many conditions are. Mine is, so I'm not sure. Going forward, what if one of the meds was making me twitch? Do we change it? Do I take on another drug, or do I try to get off the drug that's causing it? That involves not just me, though. I don't live in a bubble. I live as part of a couple. I live as part of a family. I have an employer. I live in a community. What seems easy for me might not necessarily be right all the time. And I kind of have this ethical thing, I feel. Like, if I have the ability to be sane and productive and healthy and in part of the community, I feel like I'm kind of supposed to do that. I can go off on my own and go off my meds and start drinking again and be a wild, Rich Life of Road Trips or Elvis Travels philosopher or something like that. But that would let down a lot of people, and that would leave a lot of people behind. I don't know what kind of state of mind I'd have to be in to go do that. But by the time I did it, I'd probably be far gone enough to just follow through with it too. So we're just going to roll with it. I think for my part, I'm just going to roll with treatment as it's going. And if I twitch, I twitch. And if I cry, I cry. And so it goes. If the next couple moves I'm thinking of making with my treatment as far as dealing with the side effects is lowering doses on a couple of the meds that I take, because I do take a lot, and they just seem to stack them up over the years, and I can't help but wonder if I haven't learned to deal a little bit better, to fucking deal with life, if I can do it without medicinal intervention. Some of them, not all of them, some of them that I'm willing to work on. So I might start that conversation with the doctor. The facility where Mark works does medication-assisted treatment. One of them is medical marijuana. That's another whole discussion, because it's arguably much more benign than the highly processed psychiatric medications, which have been causing me to, fall apart on some level physically here and there. I gotta get blood work pretty often to make sure everything's on the up and up. That's an option, but I have a history of addiction. But they actually use medicated marijuana now to treat certain addictions. I don't know. It would be another course, but that would be, again, another discussion with Mark, another discussion with the doctor, another discussion with XYZ. I would have to make sure, if I wanted to even approach that, I'd have to have a honest discussion with my mental health provider. Would you work with me if I reduced these meds and tried this instead? If they said no, then I have another discussion. Do I have to go to another psychiatrist and pursue that? Or do I not pursue that and stay with my current shrink? It's a lot of decisions. So, I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. My next goal is to reduce the amount of meds that I'm taking and possibly replace them with something else a little more benign. I would like to do that. if I can maintain my health and do it, then I would. I will. But it's like, when do I start? It's scary because the risk of failure. I've failed before changing meds. I have. It sucked. I was in the hospital, overnight with injuries. It was bad, So I didn't want to. I don't want it to happen again. But can I aim for more? Can't people aim for more than just stable? Isn't there more than just staying out of the hospital? There's more to life out there for it. People. I was just having a presentation this week, excuse me, and I was talking about recovery for folks with mental health concerns. People always talk about it in terms of drug and alcohol, because in drug and alcohol, you stop using or drinking, and then you're in recovery, so to speak, in a loose sense of the term. You're sober, you're dry, or whatever. In mental health, it's a little different, because recovery looks different, because it's not like I'll never have another episode again, probably. It's just, what does my life look like between them, and what efforts do I make to put towards that recovery? My recovery to me is an orientation towards my challenges. So if I am going to have a big mental health challenge, how am I going to go at it? Who am I going to ask for help? Who's going to know? What's the plan if it goes bad? That's recovery thinking for me. It's not so much, well, we're just going to do whatever, and then when it falls apart, I'll ask everybody to come pick up the pieces. I've fallen apart and everyone's come to pick up the pieces. I come from a good family, and I come from, a good circle of friends. They're good folks, good coworkers, everybody. But I wouldn't prefer that. So we're just going to not fuck around and find out. We're going to tread lightly, I think, on my end, and find out. And then my next move is to pursue, hopefully, dropping some of the doses in the meds. When, like I said, I don't know. I have to talk to my doctor and try to pick a time of year when my moods are stable enough to pick what med first and what to reduce. It's a lot. It's a lot that have piled up. So we'll see. We all have our own choices to make. You have yours. I have mine. And you do the best. I think you make the best decision, I hope you can, with the info that we have. And that's it. So, yeah, open-ended, because life keeps going. So thank you all for indulging and listening to my discussion. I hope maybe you learned a little something about the decision-making process when it comes to, do I take my meds, do I not take my meds? What are the side effects? Are the side effects worth it? What if I don't want to deal with them? What can I do about it instead? I want to keep this a little more conversational rather than like an educational discussion, and keep it a little bit more about what I'm thinking about, what I might be trying to do. So I hope you enjoyed listening, maybe give you something to think about, and that's all she wrote. I've been having to cough for like half an hour, so we're going to wrap it up now. Thank y'all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get alerts when we have new videos and also when we go live. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc, or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and our contact information is listed below as well. Thank you again, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. I'm pretty sure we're catching up with you tomorrow, actually. So, thanks for watching. Bye!